my request. I'm here on behalf of West Brownsville Little League. West Brownsville Little League has the distinction of being the oldest youth sports league in continuous operation in Brownsville. We've been in existence since 1952, and with the exception of the COVID year where we had to stop, we've never stopped. We've always been around. We started in 1952. In 1962, we came into possession of the park that we're currently at, which is located on Cottonwood Drive. And it didn't belong to us, but it belonged to the Methodist Church. They partnered with us back then to get a league going, and they would run the concession stand, and West Brownsville Little League would run all the activities. That worked very well for about 30-something years until the 1990s. I'm not sure of the date, but the Methodist Church said, well, we're going to go ahead and turn our park over to the city of Brownsville. So it became a city of Brownsville asset. And we were put into the deed that we would be permanent residents of that park. So we've taken ownership of the park in the sense that even though the park doesn't belong to us, we treat it like it's our park, and we try to beautify the park and keep it pretty and keep it, trash picked up, and report any things to the park department that need to be fixed, etc. Back in 2018, you guys helped us renovate the park. We put in new fields, and then we created a brand new field that is the only field that I know of in the valley, which is designed for kids with special needs. And it's got like a concrete substrate so that kids with walkers and wheelchairs can walk it without tripping and falling. Today, I'm here to talk about our phase two. Our phase two includes some of the items that you have listed there: a pavilion with ADA tables and chairs, some trees with accompanying irrigation, major field dugout. Our major fields are made out of these concrete blocks, and so it gets very dark in there for night games. And so we want to put in some solar lights into those dugouts. Our Challenger field, which is the new field that I mentioned earlier, it is in need of a couple extra lights, 2 or 3 extra lights, to fully enlighten that place. We'd like to replace our backfield backstops or our infield backstops, which are these red kind of cushy things that cushion the ball and have our logo on it. And then we'd like to place some special needs statues near our flagpoles. Today, before I continue, I'd like to recognize a couple of people that are here with me. If you guys could stand, please. I have Joe Camacho, our president, and Joe Salazar, our treasurer. I've been a member of West Brownsville Little League for 32 years. I played there as a child. I've been an active parent. I've been a coach. I've been an all-star coach. I've been the president of the league. I've done pretty much everything, and I don't foresee myself ever leaving. That's how much of a passion I have for West Brownsville Little League. As far as the quality of life benefits are concerned, we believe that the addition of the pavilion will give teams and families a place to congregate after games. And this will be especially beneficial to kids with special needs because, as you know, and some of you saw me walking with a cane, it's really tough to get around. It's really tough. And for kids that are on walkers and wheelchairs, it's tough to take them different places. So if we have a pavilion there for them, well, we also have them being able to join us in these ADA compatible tables so they can join for pizza parties and things like that we have after their games. Our primary goal is to make our place more engageable so that children after their games can have a place to hang out and have a place to play and not leave, because we know once they leave, they turn on their video games and they turn on their stuff at home, and we want to keep them engaged. Our physical location is 1295 Cottonwood Drive, which is off of Old Dallas Road and right behind the fire station. As I mentioned, the key components of our project are our pavilion, our statues, our lighting, our backstops, our trees, irrigation. Our timeline is we'd like to get all this done within about 8 months. We were told that the pavilion has to be ordered and the statues have to be ordered, so we got to give the vendors some time to construct them and then to come out and put them up for us. Our lighting and backstops should be in a little quicker, as well as our trees and irrigation. The people that we are collaborating with to get this project done are the City of Brownsville and the Brownsville Beautification Committee. The total project cost is $236,000. We are requesting approximately 80% of that, $189,102 from BCIC. That falls into $193,000, $193,502 in labor, and $43,100 in, I should say, $193,000 in materials and $43,000 in labor.
Sorry, we're at time for the presentation. Right? Okay, sorry, yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Is
that the end of your presentation?
No, I have more, but I got going a little bit too much about my passion for West Brownsville Little League. If you want me to continue, I can continue.
Oh, the 5 minutes is up?
Yeah, I
5
thought there was a.
Okay,
that's what
so
I was, that's what.
let's see what kind of questions we have. Any
Okay.
questions?
So I'm curious, what's driving the pavilion as one of the top projects? I would imagine, is there not a place to eat there currently, or?
No, we have some wooden picnic tables out there that are kind of scattered around, but we don't really have a central location where kids can get together and have their pizza parties or hot dog parties or whatever they have after games. And we thought, well, having at least a small pavilion will give our kids a place to congregate after games.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. I was trying to envision it so that obviously we know Brownsville's pretty hot, so having that shade, it's going to help.
Of course, that's another big benefit, is to having a shaded place.
It could even be a safety issue, right? I mean, you're playing out there in the sun and you want them to kind of take a break. Got it. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chavez, first of all, thank you for your time and commitment. I know I've seen you there at the West Brownsville Park for years, so thank you for that. Just a quick question. I mean, I drive by every day. I live near the area. My question is obviously this is probably, one of the nicest baseball parks that we have in our communities. But I mean, isn't parking a challenge there? How do you guys deal with that? I mean, the parking issue, it seems that there's very limited spaces.
The parking issue. Actually, the parking issue has improved a whole lot. Before we got involved in 2018 to ask to renovate our park, we just had caliche parking lots, which to me was absurd that, an inner city park, I mean, we're limited on our park space, but our inner city park had caliche parking lots. So back in 2018, when we had our renovation, our phase 1, we actually had all our parking lot paved, and it looks really, really nice. So right now, as we speak, parking is not really an issue. When we get into our all-star season, which is June and July, when we have out-of-town guests come from throughout really South Texas, it does get a little bit
tight.
It can get a little bit tight, but we make do. We make do, and it's our park, and we don't see us moving because we just have a passion for that place.
You got it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I moved back home 30 years ago, and my boys were only temporarily interested in baseball. But when we did go out there, you did such a wonderful job, and I do remember one of your last big fundraisers. You do an excellent job. I have nothing but good things to say about your organization and what you do there. Have you worked with or spoken to our city forester? We have a new city forester now that's working with Brownsville Beautification Committee to talk about the
We've committed that our city forester, our city of Brownsville forester is going to be the one selecting the trees.
Perfect.
That are part of this phase 2 project.
He's very talented, so I'm glad.
Yep.
Raj, do you have any questions?
Just curious about the scale of the pavilion. Like, do we have a dimension for it?
Oh, scale, the size of the pavilion?
The size of the pavilion is approximately 60 by 20, 60 by 20, I believe, 60 by 20 or 25. No, 64 by 24.
Awesome. Thank you.
So it's not huge, but it'll accommodate, 40 to 50 players.
Yeah.
Is it also, I guess, expandable in the future and maybe down the road?
I think that the problem with our park is that it's a small park. And so when kids go out there to play, they need a place to warm up and throw the ball with each other and stuff. So conscientiously, we'd love to have a much, much bigger pavilion, but we don't want to take away from the green space, right? Why? Because our kids use that green space. And so just having a small pavilion will fit our needs.
I have a question that's kind of related to Cesar's. I have some cousins' kids who play, and it's been fun to go watch them, but I do think that there's a bit of a parking issue. It's a bit of a challenge, and even like crossing the street can feel sketchy when there's so much traffic and you have your games going on. So I think your project looks good, but I'm curious, do you have any like bike parking areas in your plans or currently on site? I know that Old Alice Road is accessible for cyclists. There's some share roads there, and that neighborhood is pretty low speeds. And so, again, you have a great diverse age of people participating. I think you have some people who are just kind of there to support their families,
Yep.
which is great, a great community space. But again, how can we kind of alleviate the parking concerns and that congestion that you see in those neighborhoods by promoting walking and biking here? Thank you.
Yeah, I'd love to have a solution for that. I just don't know what the solution would be to alleviate the parking issues. But I can tell you, as I said earlier, parking is not really an issue. It only becomes an issue when we have these out of town, tournaments where people come in in the months of June and July. That's when it becomes an issue. But I'm
Just
open for
speaking from
suggestions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm speaking from experience, and so I guess I'm just hoping maybe you throw in like a $500 bike rack or like a couple of areas where you can encourage that so that people who might want to walk or bike, I think the Parks Department is kind of nodding that they could probably pitch that in. But when you have those spaces where people can lock up and go play and go watch a game and feel comfortable, I think that would encourage alternative modes of transportation to your site.
Okay.
I mean, if I choose to go watch a game, but I'd choose to ride my bike, is there a secure place to lock my bike?
There is not a place to lock it unless you lock it next to one of our fences. We have a lot
So
of
maybe in the
fences,
future
big
you can
fence
think
areas
about
that
a
you can lock
bike rack is what Eva's saying.
A bike rack would be nice. Okay. According to our park advisor here, he said we'll be having one here in the next few weeks.
Excellent. Now we'll all ride our bikes down to the next game.
Amen.
I think we should encourage it. I mean, you have so
I do
many
too.
people. I
I
think
do
it'd be
too.
great to see.
It is
so.
very slow speed in that neighborhood, so it's very easy.
Motion to close public
Any
hearing.
other questions before we close public hearing?
Motion to close.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any opposed? Motion, public hearing is closed. Motion to approve,
So-
to act?
So moved. I move to approve this project.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And note that Mark abstained. Thank you.
Thank you very much.